What's going on, everybody? Evan, aka Ecstatics here, and today I am bringing you a brand new video on my extended review of the Microsoft Surface Laptop 4. Now this is the 15-inch iteration, and I have been using this laptop for about nearly a year. And I wanted to give my thoughts on the good and the bad for the Surface laptop series. For the record, this is my first time using a Surface laptop. I haven't used any of the smaller devices. I haven't used any of the tablets, the Pros, anything like that. This would be my very first Surface device. And Microsoft did not send this to me, so I am doing this on my own will and making the long-term review just for this channel. In the past, I have used Dell laptops, HP laptops, as well as Lenovo's. Personally, I think Lenovo's are just the go-to, long-lasting, pretty much throw them across the room and they'll still turn on kind of laptop. And when deciding on a laptop for this year, I decided to take the Surface Laptop 4 for a spin, and obviously I decided to keep it. So let's get into the good and the bad and give my long-term takes on the Surface Laptop 4. Now, first thing out of the box is these laptops have fantastic build quality. The aesthetic is very pleasing. They have taken the best from Apple and HP and Dell and all that, and they have crammed it into this laptop. Whenever you get a new laptop, you know right away when you can open the lid with just one finger, you know that that is going to be a good laptop. Ventilation being on the rear of the laptop, which means that it's not going to be blowing hot air out the sides on you, anything like that, no discomfort. But the one downside of the ventilation being on the back means that the hinge cannot open up past that. So if you're a person that likes to have your laptop beside a display monitor or anything like that, you can't kind of put it in a stand and it can't be straight up, easy to see. Only downside that I found with the vent cover on the back. With previous models of HP and Dell and whatnot, you can actually keep these pretty straight and you can use them beside a desktop monitor. Now, another pro that when I moved to this device, I wasn't 100% sure whether I was going to like it, and that is the Surface's aspect ratio of the screen. Normally when you have a laptop display, you have a 16:9 aspect ratio, 1080 display, 1440p display. Whereas with the Surface laptops, they've gone for a 3:2 aspect ratio, which means that the display is actually taller than it is wider. Now, right off the bat, using this as just the laptop screen, I 100% noticed the difference. And if I could all the time, I would stick with this 3:2 screen ratio because it just allows you to utilize the screen so much more. Things just fit better with the side-by-side, at least for the things that I do. Maybe it's because of the crazy resolution on these, which is 2496 by 1664. So if you're coming from a 1080p display, that is almost 2 times the resolution that you are getting from that display. So screen, big pro, enjoyed it. Now we'll move on to the keyboard. Now on this Surface, I decided to go against can't remember what Microsoft is calling it, but it's like the felt, it's like the rubber and the silicone. I was worried about wear and tear. I know people have said that in the past that it's held up properly. Having the aluminum on the laptop, I feel like is just going to be a much better option for longevity. You won't get as much wear and tear. It is a little colder to the touch, but I felt like this was the right way to go. But as for keyboard spacing, it's not my utmost favorite. I've definitely had better keyboard spacing. The layout is not bad. Keys are big. The key throw is, satisfying. But where it picks up is the trackpad. The trackpad is probably one of the best Windows trackpads that I have ever used. It's very comparable to, say a MacBook, just a little bit smaller. but for touch and feel and usability, I feel that the trackpad definitely picks up where the keyboard drops off a little bit. So you do get shortcut keys in your F key row, and you can use the FN shortcut to switch them to F keys, so that is still available. You have your standard volume down, volume up, mute, play, pause, screen brightness, and then your standard print screen, home, and end. Now let's move on to the magnetic charger. So with the Surface series of laptops, Microsoft includes their Surface proprietary plug, which is both a pro and a con. We'll get to the con side a little bit later, but for the pro side, it plugs into the Surface connector magnetically, so that if a child or a dog or a fellow loved one walked by and kicked your cord, it's not going to take your laptop and throw it all the way across the room. It is simply just going to disconnect, and you can simply pop it back in. No damage done. As well as a big plus in my books is they still included the USB-A plug on the laptop. Now on this generation, it is USB 3.0. On the new Surface 5, I believe this is USB 3.1, so it does get a step up, but I'm very happy that they included this, so that if you have like a mouse dongle or a SD card dongle or anything like that, it still works in this slot, and you don't have to have a dongle on a dongle in the USB-C. So thank you, Microsoft. And the last pro for this laptop is the microphone comes built into the laptop. There is a dual series microphone that is on the right and the left of the webcam. This microphone is probably one of the best built-in microphones that I have used in the last couple of years. Okay, so here is a test for the microphones and the webcam on the Surface Laptop 4. Okay, so now we're done with the pros. We'll move on to the cons. The very first con on this device, the Surface Laptop 4, is the webcam. Why in 2021 we are including a 720p laptop webcam? Dell and Lenovo and them are including, some are even including 4K cameras in a price range like this. This needs to have a 1080p, and I'm pretty sure the Laptop 5 still has the 720p camera, so they still haven't changed it. The next con for this laptop is there is only one USB-C port on this laptop. It would have been very nice to see on the other side of the laptop, beside the Surface connector, to include a second USB-C, so that if you were using universal docking stations or anything like that, that you had the option to plug it in either this side or that side, as well as if you were using it, you still had the option of plugging anything else into this side that could use that connector. But I get it, they're going with the aesthetic look, clean look, and we got one USB-C. It is what it is. Next con being that they did not include any expansion slots on here. So there's no micro SD, there's no regular SD, there's nothing like that anywhere on the laptop. You may think that the Surface connector actually looks like an SD card slot. It is not, and it would have been nice, like I said in the previous thing, to have the extra USB-C on this side so that you could plug your dongle in this side, have everything there, and then have your Thunderbolt on this side. But again, aesthetics. And with the Surface laptop, with the big 15-inch display, Microsoft only sells these in the glossy screen. So the max brightness on these is 400 nits, which isn't crazy bright, but indoors you'll be fine. Outside you might find a little bit of hard to read if you're in direct sunlight. But one thing you will notice, that if you are in any direct sunlight that is coming from the side, if it's shining in your display, you will not be able to see it, because these things reflect all light, and there is a glare almost any time there is a light behind me. So something to note. Not too bad, but it is definitely a con for this laptop. It would have been nice to be able to have the matte finish on these displays. And my final con coming back around is the proprietary Surface connector for these laptops. Now, Microsoft does sell a docking station for these, and it does only connect through the proprietary dock connector, and there is no way to connect third-party peripherals through that connector, at least as of yet. Being 4 generations in, if they haven't done it now, they probably don't plan on doing it anytime soon. So you can charge through the USB-C on the laptop, but then again, if you're charging there, where are you going to plug in your dongle? And it just creates this whole mismatch of cables when you're trying to charge and use your accessories and all that thing. I think they could just simply solve this problem with adding another USB-C or Thunderbolt on the right side of the laptop. So those are my thoughts on the Surface Laptop 4. Again, I've been using this for nearly a year. I am very much enjoying it. Would I buy a Surface Laptop again? That's a tough one. We'll have to leave that for a future video, and we'll see when we make that decision. But if you made it to the end of the video, please leave a like, as it does help the channel out tremendously. And if you're using one of these, or you have any thoughts and opinions on the Surface Laptop generation, leave anything down below. Let me know. I love answering questions or taking tips from people that have been using the same devices that I make reviews on. Again, thank you for watching, and I will see you next week.